record this. There we go. I'm recording. Cool.
Yeah, we're recording the meeting now, so we can they can watch it later. We can drop this in the in the Discord.
Although notes are probably much more succinct and
right.
better. Yeah.
But the recording helps.
Okay. All right. So Marna, you want to kind of summarize for everybody what we covered last night?
Sure. Okay, so
yeah, like after we adjourn with everybody else.
Okay, so Pam, Noogies, and I all kind of just ran through some stuff. We have some follow-up areas as far as the newsroom and some resources. We're going to have, I have a sheet out there that talks about all the different areas, and as soon as I figure out how to get it editable out to everybody, we're going to go ahead and do that. We'll drop it someplace that everybody will know to sign up. And I even have a little example of, like, if you're going to do
Did we lose Marna? Or did I get lost?
I can't hear her.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we lost her.
Yeah. Marna, can you hear us? If you can hear us, we can't hear you. All right, I'm going to send her a message on Discord, y'all. Let me see.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
You're good.
Nice hat.
Awesome. Okay. Well, Abe, I was looking at that story that just came out today, and it's interesting that came from The Intercept. You remember why they were created, right?
Exactly. That's exactly the point, too. Well said.
Yeah. The sandbox is something I want all the writers to start working on. It's an app, and it allows us to kind of organize outside of Discord for the writers.
Like, if you have an idea for a piece, you can submit a pitch, and an editor can approve it and say, yeah, go throw all your time into that, and take a team of researchers with you, and dig deep and do something big with it. Or alternatively, editors could assign pieces, if there's something breaking, and there's a pool of available writers, they can put an assignment out there through this web software, and whoever sees it first can just take it, go write it, bang it out, and then it's just a way to stay organized, and it's pretty cool stuff. There's a lot of other stuff you can do too.
What's it called again?
Sandbox.
Sandbox. All right, it's on Windows, I assume, too.
Yeah, I think
it's just through web.
It's just through the.
Wait a second. Are you talking about the toolbox area?
I think so.
Right.
All right, we have to have a separate discussion on that after the fact.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. We have to get a separate. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
separate server to.
It's going to need more resources to really handle all the writers.
So we're going to get that handled soon, so everybody can use it. Because I think that'll help us. You think, Nugs?
Kind of like
we just need proper. The toolbox is an area with about 40 plus apps in the background that's basically all private. You can create your own instances of these apps, and they are yours and yours alone until you share them with other people.
and we'll go over that.
There's a lot there. It's pretty cool.
Yep. So we won't be able to have everybody use it until we get a dedicated server or more dedicated resources for it. But we'll get that handled soon. Yeah, because I think it'll be important to use something like that.
So I'm back, Pam. I don't know where I faded out or if you filled in the rest or what that was. Sorry.
No, we just kind of hung out. I mean, we discussed a little on, Sandbox and whatnot.
That's my great Xfinity connection that never drops, apparently.
Well, you dropped off after about like 60 seconds.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll just pick up so we have the reverse 4 a.m. We are looking to get everybody, we're going to try to get that automated so that they can scrape the morning data and kind of push out what that is. Then we're going to notify the writers, hopefully in a quick meeting, as well as at the same time let the on-air hosts know. We'll get editors update during the day and working on formatting, and then another push between the 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time news shift, and get that pushed out again as well. Now that's in the perfect world of where we want to be. So we have a lot of work to get there, but that's just pretty much where we'd like to be, and get everybody to kind of be aware of it and know where we're going forward.
Yep. I'm going to be making a habit of getting up extremely early every morning to literally watch the 4 a.m. talking points roll in on. But ideally, we will be able to automate a lot of that, as you mentioned. Nothing. You are here. Yes. Nug said this sounded like your thing. So
Yeah, this is
we're talking is essentially automating a something that pulls in like key key phrases that are being used repeatedly each morning. As the talking points roll in, try and figure out what their angle is. What's their coordinated push?
Yeah, they use coordinated talking points and certain words. Like for right now with the Mueller thing.
Yeah, I was speaking about this on Discord. Trump just sent out a rebuttal tweet for the Mueller report. I put it up on the screen if you read it.
Yeah.
I think this is a goat. I think they're trying to goat Congress into starting the impeachment hearings to crush them, or it's a shield. It's one of the two. They're either trying to shield Congress from getting arrested after FISA, so it just goes to Comey and Brennan and not to House of Representatives. I think that's their plan.
They are good. Yeah, they're going to be making many coordinated pushes, and they're going to be trying to push their narrative hard here, and we got to get in the habit of countering that, because we have the opportunity to be like the mirror of them, like complete, just doing. I don't know. It's
We just want to counter their talking points, and also Fox's, because one of the things that bothers me about Fox is they're supposed to be the conservative side, right? And I was watching their interview with Steve Bannon yesterday. Once again, they're spouting the corporate side of this nonsense. When it comes to the borders, when it comes to China, when it comes to Brexit and the EU. They represent the corporate banking interests. So I don't agree with them either. I was listening to Martha McCallum interview Steve Bannon, and there were several points where I was like, this is just Koch brothers nonsense here that she's spouting. Oh.
Yep. So we need to be countering all of that. So I think we're going to try to meet, at least with those available, every morning after we've kind of come up with like a daily sort of action plan, and sort of like breaking items to focus on, and of course as other things develop throughout the day, that's going to be like the large portion of what we do day to day is just day-to-day news updates on important things going on with all these trials and whatnot. And then a small portion is going to be like the deep diving sort of stuff that Radix does. That's, I think, what's going, like, deep diving into all this Nexium stuff and really delving into the transcripts and making all these connections and doing some actual investigative journalism with this sort of stuff. That's what's going to draw people in. But the day-to-day stuff is what keeps, it's what drives everything. And it's largely the most important stuff, just for what people need to be informed on. So.
Well, what Fox is pushing right now is that now that Mueller is not part of the DOJ, that Trump can't use executive privilege to get him from not testifying.
Ridiculous. They are unbelievable. They're engaging in voter suppression in 2018. All this other, providing, giving publicity to Justin Amash and these rhinos that no one's paying attention to and no one cares about. This is just like how, people in the alternative media focus on what Madonna's doing. No one cares.
Oh,
You're giving her publicity. No one cares anymore. Move on. It doesn't matter. We all know she's a witch. End of story. So, and they do this with Alyssa Milano. Fox News constantly talks about the crap she does on social media.
Right.
No one cares. We're not giving them a platform. Stop. But they can't help themselves. So we want to be the alternative to Fox, too. It's not just countering the Democrat talking points. It's countering Fox's, which I think is more important.
Yeah, in a lot of ways.
Honestly, a lot of people, look at CNN's ratings. They're down the tubes. They are losing $10 million a year. They just closed down parts of their London bureau. No one's listening to them. So we really should be countering Fox more.
Yeah, that's why I'm paying attention to Fox instead of CNN and MSNBC.
They
need
are
to counter fake mega.
They're far more dangerous to our side of things than think of it, if they pick up all these newly awakened people and start feeding them disinfo and people don't understand what they really are, that's not good.
Here they are giving Nadler a platform.
Yep, Nadler it too.
Even our president's been calling them out lately. What
Yeah.
didn't he just say that in a big what event was that? Like what's going on with Fox lately?
He did at a
Yeah.
rally.
Yeah, that was it.
Well, the other thing that they're doing is Fox put out this, or no, it wasn't Fox, it was Drudge, which is Comp 2. Drudge has a front page thing about rare minerals in China. This could be China's big boon. How about an article years ago, Japan found this big thing of near infinite supply of rare earth materials. POTUS was just in Japan. I don't think China has shit. But you'll see Drudge give it a platform. Sorry. So Drudge as well. We got to counter Drudge and Fox.
Yeah, Nadler's about to come on in 30 minutes to go and spew his garbage.
No way! Wow. See, this is what we got to get ready to. I want to be watching. Ideally, in my ideal
Collins, he just said something.
Oh, yeah?
Eyes on Collins.
Wow,
I had hoped we'd come before the committee to answer questions. Robert Mueller.
See, this is what I want to be doing. Just as an example, like this is what I want to be doing with you all every day. All right, like meeting and discussing all this. What they are doing, what they're as it comes in, and breaking people off to go write an article on it to counter it immediately. That's what I want to be doing day to day. Ideally, that's how I want to be spending my time in my ideal PSP world.
Yeah, Fox, they're presenting themselves as the enemy to the people. So it's time for us to, because that's who's listening to on our side. Who are they listening to more? Besides us, Fox News, other outlets like that. We need to counter their narrative.
Right.
Okay, so on those thoughts, I want to keep everybody, I sent an agenda to Pam. I definitely want to keep everybody on that so we can try to be as respectful to everybody else's time, as well as just jump off and make sure that we have if we have questions. Plus, I know Pam wants to try to get ahead, get a one-on-one meeting with everybody as well. So we want to try to jump on those. So
Yep.
Pam, do you want to lead the agenda? You want me to do it, or what?
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and take us through it? Just we'll get it through, and then we'll get to chatting about whatever questions people have and whatnot.
Okay, so we were talking about a little bit of, I mentioned we're going to have a writer sign-up page, which is all the topics on the web. And then I just mentioned that we'd like to have individual meetings, Pam and myself with you. And so we can kind of gauge where you're at, who's got editing. I lost the chat notes yesterday. I had to restart. So anybody has editing experience. Then I think the next thing we'd like to do is go into the newsroom and show you what is out there. That's the link that I sent out to everybody. If you can drop in chat who doesn't have access to the newsroom, that would be good. Pam, can you share the newsroom with everybody?
Oh boy. Do you know your login info? I don't have mine on hand. On this computer. Yeah.
Where'd I write it down? I might have it right here.
Oh wait, I think I might have it on here. Possibly.
Yeah,
Let's
I
see.
write down all my passwords now, and I make them weird and hard. I just put
No, I
random.
There we go. There we go. Thank you, Laura.
Oh,
Laura's with us. Cool.
yay!
So if you look over under resources, and we have all these different resources, and I noticed yesterday that we may or may not be able to, well, we also have some things like the vault, the FBI vault and the CIA. Those specific places are missing. However, I'm going to work on seeing some places that I find from. I'm not a great digger like Radix is, so I'm sure there's lots of other sites as well. But I'm going to go ahead and request those sources to be added. But if you look and see, there's all these different places. Yep, exactly. Request a source. Go ahead and drop that in, and that will be looked at. Laura, do you want to take us through the site? Have you used it?
Yeah, what I typically do is, this is where, right here is where you would come through the back door when you send a request. These are the users, and here's all the approved people to provide content, like to write an article. Nugs has made it pretty simple, and I don't know if Nugs or maybe it was nothing, but if you hit new, this is where you would write your article. So you can add the title here, you can fill it in, and then over here to the right, you can actually put it with the pitch, and then you can submit it. It's pretty handy to use. It's pretty simple. So then you just submit your article. It would go to the editor, which is Radix. I don't know if you've had a chance to talk to Sister Girl, but she was an editor as well. And then, but yeah, it's pretty handy. Now, Nugs will have to take you through the apps. There's apps that Nugs has that you can utilize, but he knows a lot more about those apps than I do. Nugs, are you here?
Yeah.
Of course.
Okay, yeah. We'll find you. All right, you have control.
Am I doing?
Yeah.
I'm doing like 5 things at once, so I'm not even sure what you're doing.
I said the apps that you've set up here for people to be able to utilize the work resource.
Oh, that's the toolbox stuff, right? Or what?
Yeah.
The tools down here in the corner under users, I think.
No, that's not
No,
that.
it's actually a toolbox.
Oh,
But hey, I don't know how you want to use that. I know you said some people.
Yeah, the to-do up there, the third one from your top. That before we get the writers in there, that whole scenario has to change.
okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't reiterate that enough. I mean, I know you guys want to get everybody using it, but we can't.
Yeah, not yet. We
Yep.
don't have enough room yet.
Yeah, no, there's not enough resources or room. We literally cannot.
Yeah, I
It's
think
getting a little crowded. So, but the toolbox area is super fun to use. Ton of stuff.
yeah.
We
So
we should get everybody to use it, but yeah, we can't yet.
We'll get there soon enough.
Yeah.
Right.
and then like she was saying, all your sources, and he's made it say if you put up here like Assange, and it'll pull from all these sources, and it'll bring up the if you're trying to do say a piece on Assange, it will pull from all these sources.
That's right.
Yep. So if you need to research something, whether it's breaking or something that's been happening the past couple weeks, you just search on it and it'll pull up
All kinds of different sources.
every source that's been talking about
Yes.
it, and you can pull from those to create
The
your
counter narrative.
Yep.
Because it pulls from like the Council on Foreign Relations, Brookings Institute, all of these places that basically run the talking points.
This is an incredible tool for you all,
It
and
is.
credit
So,
goes to nothing
use the
for making
search.
this. It's amazing. It's
Yeah,
great.
there you go.
It's fantastic.
We also have, going back to the Discord though, if everybody has looked through some of the different servers, there's an amazing amount of articles out there. It's not, I don't think it's easy to search as far as title. I could be wrong. If I am, please someone let me know. But I know we're looking to try to set up a reorganization of that, maybe under topic, that you can find things easily as well.
Well, I've been working on something. It's almost ready. We have one of our anons that has a show he's an archiving. I don't even know where to begin to talk about him. He's got a server of his own where he has these news hooks, these websites that he brings in through a bot. And I've tried to set it up where people can't go in there. They don't need to be typing in this. I mean, this guy's one of those, like if he went in and saw a discussion going on in the server, but it can be utilized as a way for people to pull from. I'll try to show you this right now.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and so see right here where he has got all these different news organizations pulled into here. I brought Pam in the other day, but see, like there's so much. He's offered to bring in anything we can think of we would like to utilize, but how this works is basically like with any. See, there's Judicial Watch. We'll probably get rid of that one, but Military Times, National Review, like he uses Zero Hedge a lot, but I'm a little mad at Zero Hedge right now. But like if you pop in the let's be able to say Assange again, see it'll pull from all these that he's put in a webhook, so you'll get all the articles here. Same thing. So this is a way for people also to be utilize different sources if they're not going into the newsroom or say they're somewhere else. But yeah, I'm going to try and bring the host in here as well. Give them other resources. But and then he's got the RSS feed, Nugs. I need to bring you in here as well because he does have that set up where you can even actually go get the feeds in this server pretty quickly. You said you needed the feed.
Does everybody have access to that?
That's why I just said I've been setting it up to try and lock down the rooms. He's made me admin. Well, the problem is I don't want hosts going in here and carrying on conversations in his Breitbart column. Like if he, because he's so, he archives every single day. He's the one that has that Breaking Spectrum. He makes up, I think a couple of his books are 700 pages long, where he brings in all these different articles for the month and tries to tell a story. So I've just tried to lock it down to make it to where people can't post in this text. Does that make sense what I'm saying? Like they can post in here, right? But
like a view only?
Yeah, but they can come pull the links. You know what I'm saying? You can search up here and pull the article. And then how that works is, say you wanted to utilize, I'm just going to jump because this is a bot, I know that, but you can hit jump and it'll jump you to wherever you pulled that up from. And then you can pull the link for that article. You need to make sure that people can't go in here and just go in this room and post to have conversations because that's not what it's for. Does that make sense?
Should be relatively easy to do.
Yeah, I'm pretty much done with all of it. And then I'm going to post in about bringing in all the hosts and hopefully we can do the same thing with the writers. But
Perfect.
It's got a lot of organization.
If we maybe then what you could do is everyone who has the writer access, have them have a read-only or view access to that server as well, possibly.
Yeah, that's what I've been working on is just shutting down the text.
Yeah, you got to do it like one by one, don't you? Channel by channel.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, what a pain.
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
But it's worth it.
That's
I think it's
huge.
worth it. Yeah, I think it's worth it. So I've kind of done that. Yeah. It's pretty, and he's so familiar with these, and I'm going to try and get him with our Birdster, who's also really good at bringing in webhooks. That's basically all it is, a webhook that brings in these different news sources. But I don't want, them using this and not the newsroom. So there's that as well. So this is kind of, I thought more of the hosts can use this if they're wanting to cover a certain topic, because all the writers should have access to the newsroom. And then the newsroom should have the availability if they want a source added that they utilize a lot. Then all they have to do is say, go to what I just showed you to add a source. Nugs and Nothing have that set up where it's fairly simple. All they really want is to make sure that you give them the URL and they can add that source.
Yep. Properly sourcing your articles is super important for people. That goes a long way towards establishing, lends credibility if you are backing up what you're saying. With the link that shows, context and everything. So I'm sure we'll have somebody that's, a more experienced writer run everybody through how to source and how to format an article.
How to insert hyperlinks.
Exactly. And how, how to make sure you're on top of that.
Or I will do the images for you.
Yep.
I'm good at that.
Yeah, we also want to tie the media team in and have them create supplementary graphics, infographics that help explain, things that you're writing about.
Especially for things that are going to be a deep dive, like our Nexium coverage. We can do custom-made graphics for these articles if they're going to be a long, detailed thread. I love stuff like that because that's going to drive eyes,
Well, if you'll see in the media server as well, I've segregated people like web developer, graphic designer, or video production. So hopefully that would be easier to put them into a team. So you say you needed a graphic designer, Radix, to do a certain article. You needed some help with imagery. You could go pull from one of those people. So that's why they've kind of been. Infinity Curve has helped me a lot there, where you set up the rooms for people to be able to drop their ideas. So it's kind of building. I hate guys that making another server, but it seems to be working well to kind of get people in their respective groups.
That's right, and then we can pitch things. Writers, if they're working on a particular thing, can put a pitch out to the media guys. Hey, I'm looking for a custom graphic for this story. Here's what it's about. This is what I'm looking for. And then people can choose to respond if they want, So it should be helpful.
I could actually technically, and I would like to be here eventually, but I could actually leave this Zoom meeting up 24/7. I eventually want to get to the point where we literally have a virtual newsroom that we are running 24/7, our war room, that we have going around the clock. So, if you all need to jump in and talk, and be able to screen share things, you can just jump right in here. I think you can actually do breakout rooms. Yeah, there we go, breakout rooms.
Breakout rooms.
I can break up the Zoom meeting into separate rooms. So if there are a few teams that need to work on a project, they can go off into their own private little area. So we can leave this up in the background 24 hours a day.
Awesome. Okay, so
we get to do what they do virtually. They tie themselves to a physical building that they have to pay to maintain. We just do what they do virtually.
Which is the world now anyway. Everybody is virtual.
That's absolutely right. And I want eventually what I envision the website being is a daily place where there's resources where you want this is the place that we want people to go to find out what the latest Trump news for the campaign, for the countering the talking points, what's going on with the Trump administration, resources, research. Basically, I want it to be like a civilian intelligence agency where we start building profiles on these bad guys. We start explaining how things work. I want people to have a resource where they can understand what is the European Union, how does this bureaucracy work, how does it affect me,
who is a part of it, and who are they connected to?
What's the history of it? I want to start building information profiles on these people like they do to us. We start building dossiers on them. It's all public information. Resources for people.
It's especially important for the 2020 campaign season, y'all. We got to get ready. Playtime is just about over.
That hit me this morning. We really need to be doing deep dives on the candidates and vetting them.
That's right.
Oh my God.
And also, there's a lot of primaries coming up in early June too. I know Virginia is.
That's right. And I also want to have resources for people how to get involved locally. People can be writing 20 things you should be, or 10 things you need to do to be ready for 2020, or how to go and get registered as a voter,
How you can
to
help.
get involved in your local city council, how you begin to, get involved in your community. I want all kinds of stuff like this.
That's something the militant left is so good at, getting their people
Yeah.
involved and into
Making it
public.
easy to get
Yeah.
involved in civil, events and stuff. That's right.
I don't know how many of you are familiar or not with Ballotpedia, but it's a pretty good source to find out what the elections are going on. It's a
Good for if you're writing an article involving, a candidate.
yeah.
Good to have lists of resources like this.
Yeah, there's another one as well. I'll find out of my server, and I just use it basically for storage, guys. But also, something else I was thinking about is I know there's going to be a lot of people that do long form writing or deeper dives into different topics, but like stuff like what Breaking 911 does, like this just came across. And they're really simple, usually just brief, maybe a paragraph or two of like something when it happens. I have some people that can actually like churn something out really quick.
Yes, that's right. The breaking news like wire service, where it's just something as simple as this, and then a link to the AP article about it, because I think that's what they do, developing story, things like this. That's awesome.
Yes.
I also think we need to be more active on Twitter, because I follow you guys on Twitter. I never see you guys ever. Like, all I see you guys is reposting up the stream. That's all I see.
I tweet a few times a day, but that's, we need to get way on that. We have like a PSP social media server we just got created. So we're trying to get a team together to focus on that too.
I have a suggestion. I don't know if Doug's going to be able to do this, but there's lots of ways to connect and automate different things. There, I know Zapier is one where, like, if one thing happens, it sets off another. So, maybe when an article is dropped in a certain category or whatever, published out to the newsroom, it could also at the same time go out to social.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yep. Publish a link automatically.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, or just take it. It would work sort of.
Yeah, don't worry so much about the social automation. I got that covered from the website.
Awesome.
I'm already way ahead of that one.
Super.
I wanted to provide an alternative for Google for you guys, especially for researchers. Startpage.com is it's like a Google, but it does not censor information. And there's certain things that you can, that for some reason you'll only find when you search with startpage.com. And I don't know how it works, but it's like a search engine that does not censor. So it's sort of like DuckDuckGo, but it's a little bit different. And there's like certain things you'll only find with that. So it's an alternative.
It's also good to try Bing. Bing can actually get some pretty good results with some things.
Have y'all heard of QWant?
The interesting thing about DuckDuckGo and Startpage is they both pull from the same sources Google pulls from. What? They just do it in a different way. Yeah, they do it in a different way, and there's no... They use less tracking, and they use a different type of algorithm to pull their results. But they literally get from the same data sources.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yep. Sorry, who was that? Was that Sister Girl?
I just run across one that I've been using called QWant.
Interesting.
QWANT.
Very cool.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, so I also want to provide like a solutions area on the website or things like where we provide like resources to people, alternatives to Google, alternatives to Gmail, alternatives to, these Amazon and things like this. I wanted to create.
Well, Nugs has a resources section on the site.
Yeah, that's right.
So we got to get that built.
That's
We need
right.
to get a list together.
Because I'd like to promote alternatives or like Patriot-owned stuff. That's, I think important too, is to stop giving these people our money and stop using their products.
Well, I had an idea a few weeks ago about maybe like a business section. I know a lot, like I'm self-employed. I like to promote I'll be doxing myself, but that's okay. Like a business directory for Patriot stuff.
That's so cool.
Yeah, a lot like what Dilly does, Magapreneurs, something like that.
That's
Yeah, sort of like a chamber of commerce for us, for Patriots.
Wow.
I mean, we're gonna have our own advertising like system that uses. It's already, I think, being built or is
Yeah.
built. That will be populated with Patriot-owned businesses, audience-owned businesses.
That's right.
Awesome.
Yeah, and that'll clicks from that'll fund all sorts of good stuff. It's awesome. All the articles that get written that pulls in. I mean, shoot, what did just getting something on Drudge is like insane. The number of people that can come to read it.
Nadler is about to show up. It'd be a great title. It'd be Nervous Nadler. We need to come up with like mimetic stuff.
Yes.
Join the team more.
Yep.
That's true.
Oh, yeah.
POTUS does that very good, giving them all nicknames like Crooked Hillary and Sleepy Joe and stuff. He always gives them like these funny mimetic like imagery names so that it associates a funny image in your mind. That is a mimetic technique, but it's also a technique of like memorization. This is something Giordano Bruno talked about when he was writing about the art of memory. Making people associate words with images, it's easier to recall it in your mind.
Yeah, that's why I like Nervous Nadler. Nervous Nadler is a good one.
I like that.
Absolutely. So Pam, do you want to go through our last little item? Can you just give a little rundown of the different roles people are playing, so people have an idea of who to go for what?
All right. Yeah. Let me pull up the site and we'll show everyone the sections that we've got so far. But I'm sure we'll add more. There's plenty of sheets that need covering.
I like the idea of kind of setting the theme for the day for, whatever the news is, like Nervous Nadler being the theme of, today's, talk of what the Democrats are up to today. Nervous Nadler, subpoenas Mueller, And
I would imagine we could do like subsections within some of these.
Right.
U.S., world, politics, opinion, business, tech, science, education, health.
For education, I eventually want to get people that are like listeners to, if they're in college, like film their professor, submit stuff, or write pieces. Let us know what your teachers are doing and what kind of classes they're doing. Show us if you're able to get it, like the course, course list. Are they teaching intersectional feminism and anti-capitalism?
And what does that
classes?
even mean?
Exactly. Like, expose this shit.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these parents that send their kids to college have no idea what is being taught. It's communism, literally communism. It's nuts, insane, and no one knows, and they pay for it and send their kids off to get indoctrinated. Got to expose it. So there's an example of the things that would be done under. Could be done under education, although education could ultimately be.
Just a thought here for marketing, for looking for the student to generate the content, is maybe do a contest for, like, I know you have some merch, like T-shirt or something like that.
Yeah.
That is a good idea. Incentives to do it.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
There we go. So anyway, I want to, as Marna mentioned, I think it'd be a good idea for us to like meet with all the writers, just kind of one-on-one, and say hey, and get to know you a little bit, and kind of figure out what you would be like. What's your thing? Like, where do you want to spend your time, and what would you be good at? Like, what would your specialty be? I'll kind of like help you figure that out. And, yeah. So we'll do that on at everyone's convenience, of course. Is there anything else? That's pretty much the agenda, right? That's all.
Well, so like, if when do we go to Laura? When do we go to you with questions? When do we go to Radix? Like, what are who the people we have right now? What are their areas so that people know what questions to ask of whom, and if they get passed off, where are they going to go?
That's a great thing to bring up. Okay, yeah, great. All right, so Laura, what do you want to explain for everybody what you do and what you don't do, like what should not be sent to you?
Well, whoa, where do I begin? Okay, so I do a little bit of everything, honestly. I handle the scheduling for the hosts, all the internal stuff for the hosts, whether it's going to be that. Plus, I've gotten this training server with Kano doing the majority of that now. I'm also now more involved in the open server because let's just say there's always some room for other people to help. I started the social media server, the IT kind of media server, and the writing server. Now, the writing server, guys, I'm not a writer. I started that server to try and bring everyone together. I know the link to send you to get you registered to the newsroom, but like Radix or say Sister Girl, they're your probably go-tos if you have any writing questions, because I edit your work. I wouldn't even know where to begin. If it's a general question, those two, as far as writing, I would think that's who you want to reach out to. I'm sure, Sister Girl, you're here, right?
Yes, I'm here, and I have to also say that I am not a writer either. I might try, but I'm definitely an editor. I can spot a typo from a mile away, and punctuation and grammar and all that. And in fact, I'm finishing editing somebody's book yesterday, and I don't change people's language because it's not, they have written these words and chosen the words for a reason. So I mainly do grammatical structure, proper, formatting and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think it'd be a good idea to, I don't know how it's done like in the professional world, but have it sent to an editor for first pass and then have the editor go back to the writer and say, hey, were these changes okay? Is this good with you?
Exactly.
Explain why you made them if necessary and so on.
Right. And then at that point, would it be the editor or the writer? Like, I think it should be on the writer to correct it, send it back to the editor for a final proof, and then send it to publish.
Yeah, I think that's great. And if Radix is okay with that, because I know she has a lot of stuff going on, if she's okay with you maybe being the first point of contact if they have any questions about their piece or want to submit it to be reviewed. Now, I don't want to step on toes. I'm just saying I know she's got a lot going on. So maybe you can help her there. But I'll leave that up.
Absolutely. I'm happy to do that.
And Sister Girl, when we meet with you, I think Pam and I will try to really drill down on like the steps the editor takes and how that flows so that we can get an idea.
Wonderful. Yeah, the process is going to be the key, like I said yesterday. So that'll be great.
I think Sarah said she had some experience as an editor too, so she can act in that role as well.
That's right.
If I remember right.
She also has experience for us already. So people that have questions about I don't know where to begin, Sarah's done some really good stuff already. She can show you the pieces she's written because she's also done very good at sourcing the stuff that she's writing about, even opinion pieces and providing links and stuff. So that is helpful too. And I think that for me right now, I have a lot going on in the background. Like I do all the bookkeeping and stuff, and I have to do the registration for subscriptions, and I have a lot I manage in the background, and then not to mention my show every day, 2 hours of stuff that I have to cover. It is a lot for one person, so I tend to say don't reach out to me unless it's really important. I get so much stuff in Discord sent to me, and so many people want sending me things.
That is why we were building these separate focus teams, and each team will have a as Laura mentioned, she generally deals with the show hosts and the scheduling and whatnot, although she does other things as well.
One of the things I'll be asking of you guys in this writing team is for a couple people that are interested in kind of stepping up and being there for me, because one of the things I've been looking at is it's important for people to learn to delegate. Like I overextend myself. I take on too much stuff. I commit to too many things at once, and then nothing gets done. So I'm looking for some people that can be kind of my right hand for the writing thing, and that, you know, wouldn't mind stepping up and working as an editor and kind of, you know, managing the day stuff with that. And I'll, of course, be there in the background and stuff, but I kind of need some people that can step up
And
do
I
this every day.
I will
I'm willing to learn and
focusing.
I'm willing to learn how to edit if someone's willing to assist me.
We can barely hear you.
I said I'm willing to learn how to edit.
Okay.
Willing to help me.
Good. Okay.
So we have it sounds like we have at least 4. Oops.
What's up?
Sorry about that. I clicked on a window. I didn't mean
Oh,
to.
no.
Oh, no.
Okay.
It sounds like we have 1, 2, 3, 4 people that have already edited, so that we could at least start with that. That's a great place to start with. And then, so we will definitely get together. And so far, that list I have is Sister Girl, Laura, Sweet Dreams, and Sarah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay.
And
so then,
as you know, Radix mentioned, I remember what I was going to say. Yeah. All right. I'm going to be taking charge with this since Radix is like really, really busy with all that. So I'll be here, like, kind of providing general direction. I'll be meeting with y'all. I would expect eventually every day. We'll just depending on whenever you're available. You don't feel like you have to show up here like every day, and
Right.
just as you are available. You know, I think eventually we'll have a pool of people that it'll just be kind of whoever's around and available.
Mhm.
When news is breaking, we'll have people we can, pool we can go to of people to write.
and Radix, I just sent you a message that might help you free up some time.
Okay.
That's
check,
good.
check that out.
Okay.
But yeah,
No
I'll be here, kind of guiding everything, and Marna, I'm sure will be. I think
I'll be around,
taking
and
care of things,
as we figure out what my role is.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, exactly. That's
And you
the
seem to
thing
be
is-
falling into the writing team, guiding the writing team, and other things as well. So that's good.
Yeah, I imagine I'm going to have my hands in a little bit of everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys, as we all work together on this, people will eventually fall into the thing that they're good at. It's,
Yep.
We're going to build a team as it goes, and natural leaders will kind of step up and take charge and stuff. The writing team, this is going to be you guys' project. So I want you all to get to know each other and start working as a team, get each other's contact information, talk to each other when news is breaking, so that the writing team is all on the same page and aware of stuff. And that's, we'll be using the Discord server for that. And if there's questions, they can be posted in the Discord writing server, and I can look for an answer. If I don't have one, I'll find one. A lot of us, no one knows what we're doing. We're going to learn this as we go.
Yep.
So
But I
it'll
was
be a
dead
learning
flipping
process
serious.
for all of us.
I was dead flipping serious yesterday when I said that this is going to be the most important part of PSP.
Yeah.
It's going to drive everything. Shouldn't say that. I mean, the show hosts and the channel are quite important in their own way, but this is where all of the the planning for countering their narrative. That's where this is going to happen, and it's like the show hosts are, kind of the what do you like the town criers.
Like the
They're going to get out there and
sounding
spread the good word. Yeah.
All right, so the last bit on the agenda was taking through Sarah's process of writing. We asked her to kind of just go through how she would very high level start from beginning to end, so that if you guys are like, okay, I have this idea, but I have no idea where to go next, she can kind of guide you through that. So Sarah, if you're ready on that.
I'm ready.
This is a huge deal, y'all. This is this is just incredible. We're about to create what's going to end up as a viable alternative to the BS that we have been force-fed for decades.
We need to counter Nadler's 3 points. Nadler just is speaking right now, and he just said 3 points, and I'm trying to write him down so he counter him.
Speak of the devil. There we go. Horse that BS. So you said you were taking down notes on the points he's hitting? Very hard to hear. I think somebody's got a hot mic. Sarah?
Do I have a hot mic?
Yeah, it's like feedback or something. I don't know what it is. Strange. Oh, there we go.
Sounds like you were vacuuming while you were Did y'all not hear that? Sounds like she cut the vacuum off. Oh, they can hear the vacuum?
Okay now?
Yeah.
Is it okay now? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, when I begin something, I come up with a topic, and it's something that bugs me. I do feature articles and I do editorials, and these things will be things that I have a lot of knowledge on, that I've read a lot about, that I've studied a lot about. And so I'll pick a topic, and then I'll start doing research, keeping track of the articles that I'm reading in a room on Discord, and ditch the articles that I don't think are going to help my topic. And I'll read and read and read and keep the ones, save the articles that are going to be useful to me, and get rid of the articles that I don't want to read. I mean, that I don't want to keep, but I've read. And then I'll kind of look at my topic, my theme, and I'll usually hone it down to some, because it's way too wide, I'll figure. And that's a real important piece, is to get the topic right, to get the scope of your article right, or you'll end up writing a book.
This is a thing with filmmaking too. That like all the all the tutorial videos will say this. It's the most important part is just cutting. Once you think you've cut enough, you need to cut like 30% more than that.
Right.
You gotta be able to trim it down to the most essential parts, because, like she said, you do not want to end up writing a book.
Yeah, right.
Because people will just lose interest if you're not hitting hard on the important points and keeping interest and making sure that you're not going off into La La Land.
The who, what, when, where, why, and how.
But most importantly, the why.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing. And usually, I would think what you want to lead with is the why. People need to know why they need to care.
Right, exactly. So so after I've picked my articles or my data, I'll print it out, and then I'll number them, and that number is my source number that I'm going to use in the body of my essay or my article. And like I'll get a piece of information from a certain source, and that source had numbered 8. I'll put 8 in the body, and then I go back through when I'm done writing my article, and I put in all my hot links. So I know 8 is this article, and I'll put a hot link for 8, like that. So that's how I do that. And I go through and I reread all the articles, and I highlight the things that are going to hit on my topic, and write a rough.
Hey guys. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Hello? What happened?
Yeah,
You there?
Oh, he's coming.
Can you hear me?
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, the Nadler, the 3 points he touched on was Mueller didn't exonerate Trump. That's what point 1. Point 2, obstruction is serious. Point 3, it's Congress's job to take action. That's his 3 points he made. Neither Mueller or Nadler took any questions, and they said Trump lied and that's a crime, and AG Barr lied and that's a crime, and he said he won't subpoena Mueller.
I'm glad he dipped in with this.
Oh.
I am glad you dipped in with this. Okay, so Sarah, where would you go with this? Take us through your process for how you would, what would you do with this?
I wasn't paying close enough attention. I was trying to keep track of where I was
Sorry.
in my process here.
Funny, yeah.
Well, so basically, we've got Nadler's 3 points, and if you heard that the 3 points were discussed, and we want to counter the 3 points, how would you go about that? And if Sarah, you don't have the answer, maybe Radix or anybody else.
I got an idea. If how we could counter is forget about all that. Just go and touch on the point is that they're afraid to answer any questions. Go on the transparency point. How Trump, he answers any and all questions, and Mueller and Nadler both refused to answer any questions and stuck to the script because the script is the only way they could push impeachment. That should be our push forward.
I like that.
Right.
Hi. Good.
So then once you had those points, how would you go about, like what's a process on that?
Well, the first point is easy. It's like prosecutors don't exonerate; they just charge crimes. Point 2, obstruction can't happen if there's no crime. Point 3, it's the job of Congress to take action. All Congress has been doing is obstructing the president.
True. That's
All right, so what are some sources we could use to back this up? Like how would we?
There's tons of them.
Yeah.
Exactly. What would be the sources, or where would you go to look for them? We're trying to get this really down to a how-to for dummies, and the dummy would be me in the room. So don't anybody else think that?
The battery.
I'm learning this too.
Battery's
Yeah, I'm gonna
fine.
plug it in. Hold on.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm learning this too because we're literally like going through the process we'll be
okay.
going through every day right now.
Okay, the first thing is to go into the newsroom and type in Mueller or type in obstruction or type in collusion into the newsroom, and all of those resources are going to come up. Now, most of those are going to be their talking points, their publications. So then what you would do is go to the list of resources I have that are places like news aggregators or things like that. Go and look at, the conservative treehouse, the markets work. There are people that have been covering Spygate really well. Sarah Carter, John Solomon. Start talking about, that's where I would begin. I would go with the OIG report. I would look at Trump's transparency. He's been the most transparent president in our history. I would look at, honey.
I'm good.
Yeah, I would look at things like this. That's where I would begin. There's articles written every day from the Washington Examiner, from The Hill about the Spygate scandal. There are certain people like Sarah Carter that have been covering this well, that have a timeline of the collusion. There are certain topics and questions we have. Look at Grassley and Nunes and the request that they've made for the Bucket 5. Explain how, the hypocrisy of the Democrats, how they screeched for the Mueller report to be unredacted right away, and they didn't give a damn about sources and methods when it came to that, and they hadn't even read it. It was all provided to them. They had the opportunity to come down there and review the documents. Nobody did it. Nobody even read it. And then, at the same time, they're screeching about the FISA stuff being declassified.
All right, so generally you all want, anybody know the delineation between like primary sources and like secondary sources? You want to be relying on primary sources, ideally.
Like the law.
Official documents, official press conferences, so on and so forth.
Yeah, the horse's mouth.
Right.
Bingo.
You start with the horse's mouth, and then oftentimes folks come in panels who editorialize, and then we can use our own discernment.
Yep.
Tucker gets somebody in there he can go toe to toe with, and then sometimes he'll get someone in there who is going to be on our side, so to speak, for lack of a better term.
Yeah. There's also Pew Research has statistics and stuff like that. So they're a good place to look for like data for numbers, what the American people think about this and that. Like, most Americans at this point don't give a damn about the Russia collusion thing and think it's nonsense. Or there's the Media Research Institute. They look at bias in the media. That's a good place to go to look at the way the media has covered Trump. 92% negative coverage since he started, how they have been wrong in the past and how they frame things a certain way, the liberal bias. I mean, this is all stuff that, the Media Research Institute looks at. So that's also other forms of data that you can use to supplement and support your argument.
This has been really good so far. Sarah, do you want to carry on with your process? Sorry, we kind of went off on a tangent there, but
that's all right. That's all right.
It was a good one. It was a good tangent. That was, like good, kind of going through the actual thought process for writing that, or doing an article on Adler and his narrative there. All
okay,
right.
so I went through doing the research and narrowing down the topic and narrowing down my articles and data to fit what my new theme is, my refined theme is, and then printing them all, and then numbering them all, and those numbers are a source, and that's what I'll place in the body as I'm writing it. I got it from Article 8, and then at the end, when I'm all done, I put in my hot links. Okay, so that's one thing, but
well, it'd be a great title for the article is least transparent House of Representatives in history versus the most transparent executive branch in history, or something. I don't know. Something along those lines about transparency. Or maybe nervous Nadler refuses to take questions after the Mueller report is repeated.
Headlines need to be really short.
Yeah.
And we also need to be, like I said, you got to really hit on why people care without being clickbaity, like why people need to care about something, but we need to avoid being clickbaity, of course.
The worst thing we could do is use a source that hasn't sourced themselves.
Right.
And I know if everybody, I believe Paul Sperry on Twitter always has his everything where he goes, or his articles do. Is that correct? That's kind of the gist I've gotten. So you can see how he does it.
Oh, honey, what's his name? James Corbett is a great example of how to source an article. James Corbett. What's his site's name?
Corbett Report.
Corbett Report. That's it.
So is Corey's Digs. She always provides those links in her articles, and she's got so much to back it up that I don't even think you could possibly try to dispute it.
She is amazing.
Yeah.
As well as her she's got a lot of sources listed there too. Her file drawer.
I think she might be, I don't know if anybody knows her, but I've been supporting her for a long time just on Twitter and retweeting and spreading her messages. But she, I mean, could it hurt for us to ask if we could use her articles? She's got really deep dives, though. They're long.
There's also an article that was written by Bill Barr. He recently pointed out that the Democrats are changing the laws in New York to go after President Trump. That should also be highlighted. The fact that this is unprecedented behavior, clearly by people who have shown that they're acting as partisans, and they're refusing to answer questions. They are refusing to be transparent. They still haven't put out the memorandum of understanding they all signed to go after President Trump. Why haven't the American people seen that? Oversight, transparency. Why are they not being transparent? They're not acting in an oversight capacity. They're literally changing the laws in New York to go after the president's personal financial business from before he was even president.
Yep. Another point is that we are going to be very, very like on point with delineating between opinion pieces and just straight reporting. We need to, like, if you are doing a straight reporting piece, you got to be very, very careful about inserting opinion into it. Yeah, we got to be very, very conscious of that.
That's
Well,
right.
Nothing just listed all of, in the chat, I don't know if you're following that, he just listed 3 points, and I said, so where's your source? And went back to, I'd call it what it is, partisan rhetoric. I'm reading off the chat. Nadler is engaging in a word war that undermines the legitimacy of his role as the man in charge of the Judiciary Committee. And he linked evidence of his partisan behavior in his voting record. That's a great source to back up your opinion.
Yep.
That's right. And so these are the points that we need to be hammering out and focusing on.
So the editors, I think when you get an article, one of the very first things I would expect, and I'm looking at this from editing law articles or documents, where's your links? Where's your source? And so all the writers, when you're submitting anything, I would imagine you need to get you need to have your sources ready.
Yeah, this is why I already have written several different kinds of pieces, opinion pieces, breaking news pieces, where I have already done that, and I've included sources, and I've shown you the way that how I even include them. Sometimes I provide a quote and then I put the hyperlink in there, so you'll see how I formatted it to insert a quote. These are things I can, when I have more time, I'll do a video maybe and record myself, writing an article, inserting a hyperlink that I can post for you guys to watch, so you can learn how to use the tools in the newsroom to format the article a certain way. How do I insert a picture? How do I insert a graph? How do I, add a source under the graph to show where it comes from? What do I do about copyrighted images? How do I find a stock image for a certain thing? These are all questions people are going to have, but, it's helpful to see how someone has handled an opinion piece, how someone's written an op-ed, what have they included in that? Because even in opinion pieces, I use sources. So, and then with breaking news, I do as well. And so I would like you all to look at the stuff I've written so you can see, number one, how easy it is to cover breaking news in a wire service manner. It doesn't require much at all. A headline and then a short little paragraph and a link to the original source from the Associated Press or Reuters. It's very easy. You don't have to have writing experience to simply write the headline and say, breaking news, here it is from Reuters. Here's the original source. Here's the link. We can have somebody that focuses on things like that, that's that simple. My articles are in the newsroom, that's right, and you can find them by looking at Patriot Soapbox content. So you'll be able to see mine, you'll be able to see Sarah's. And so Carrie's written an article, you can see hers, the way she's done it, how she's inserted a video, how to embed a video clip, how to embed a picture in your article. These are all things y'all are going to want to learn. But it's very simple and very easy, and I can, maybe do a video going over that. But I would hope you all go and look at the stuff that I've written as an example, because some of the questions you have may be answered by just going and looking and seeing and getting ideas that way. Bye, sweet dreams. I see you have to go. Oh, yeah, the storm over there looks really bad. I was looking at the, what's it called? The weather thing about this. My goodness, some of the damage has been really bad, these tornadoes. Geez. with hail like the size of golf balls and stuff.
Right. So do we have any other points that we need to hit on, Marna, or anyone else? Because I'm sure people have things that they got to do.
Yeah.
No, that was really it for the moment. So we'll be in touch with each person to figure out what we can do. And then I've got a list of 4 additional meetings that Pam and I and Laura are going to need to try to get together.
Okay. I'm going to take this recording at some point and I'm going to put it in the Discord so that then eventually if people have missed a meeting, they can just go and re-listen to it.
And check out my message, Radix, so that you can get freed up a little.
Did you sent that to me in Discord?
I did.
Okay.
All right. So I think we're good. Does anyone have any questions? What do we do? When are we meeting next? Are we going to start meeting every day? Are we going with Saturday? What are we doing?
Well, we have the full meeting on Saturdays.
Right.
And we're going to try to, who is available right now that could stick around to meet with Pamphlet and I individually. So if you could just say you're free or not, that would be great.
I am free.
Okay, Allison?
Yeah, I'm free for like an hour, and then I gotta go.
Okay.
I'm free as well.
Okay. All right, so why don't the 3 of you stick around, and we'll just go through and kind of knock you out right away.
Sure.
All right, everybody. I've got some stuff I got to get back to, but this is, I mean, I think that what I may do is each morning go into a voice channel in the Writers Guild area in Discord, and if you all want to come and hang out, if you have the time and you're available, come in. That's what I might do every morning. I'll make myself available in there. Yeah. I'll start posting some links to some breaking news, perhaps. And then, you know, people can come into the voice area in the mornings each morning if they can make it. If not, they don't have to. But that's something I might start doing every morning real early, you know, and that way, you know, if people are available, you know, we can do that.
From what to what time?
I don't know yet. I will probably, there's a way I can announce it in Discord beforehand and let you all know, and it'll send out like a notification to everybody.
Perfect.
That. Yeah, and I'll send it out in advance so you all know.
Yeah, I would try to do a set time every day though. We'll figure out.
We'll get there.
Yep.
Yeah, because I know we've got the reset at 9, and it's just, yeah. Okay, we'll get there.
So maybe right after the reset then.
Yeah.
Or, well, it's West Coast people, that's 6 a.m.
Oh, okay.
Maybe more like 11. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I just have to think about it. Okay. All right.
Love you guys. I'll see you later.
Bye.
Thanks so much.
Thank you all big time for coming. This is a really good meeting. I'm like super pumped. We're building like what is going to take PSB to the next level and beyond.
That's right.
This is going to become incredibly important, just as important as the channel is and has been.
Oh yeah.
Maybe even more. We'll see.
And once the website goes live and people start reading like y'all's writing, you guys are going to get people that reaching out to you, wanting to talk to you. You're going to have people that want to join the writing and they want to get in on it too and see how much fun y'all are having and stuff. So you guys are going to, I'm sure, enjoy yourselves doing this.
I'm excited. I hope y'all are too. Good stuff. Right. Thanks.
All right. I'm going to stop the recording now, honey.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay.
And whoever we're meeting.